Hello and welcome to the Whirly Bloke channel. Today I'll be looking at the Wiral LITE ping pong mode new firmware update. I've been using my Wiral LITE cable cam on a few commercial video shoots. It's the perfect alternative to a drone, cinewhoop or otherwise in certain situations, and compared to something like a Deft Cadence or a Pro-Aim Skywalker, it's tiny and very light. Sure, you can't strap an epic to it, but that's not what it's designed for. And I remember operating a Skywalker a few years ago on a big outdoor festival over crowds, and although all the safety calculations have been done and the risk surveys have been signed off, it was pretty nerve-wracking flying 20 or 30 kilos directly over people. And the Wiral LITE will take a GoPro or similar, and you can use it pretty safely over people, but obviously you still need to assess all the risks. And it's also very fast to rig, and you can just pop it in your camera bag. One of the main reasons I bought it was so I could do cable cam shoots as a single operator. And one of the main reasons I was really disappointed with it was there was no ping pong or shuttle mode. Trying to operate the camera and holding the Wiral speed controller is mighty fiddly. And sometimes it was just easier to get someone else to shuttle it around. And my preferred way to operate this is using my Zenmuse X5 camera and the Osmo. This is quite old now, but the Wiral carries the extra weight with no trouble, and I can operate the camera and the gimbal using the iPad. You can use the DJI Go app for this, but Litchi for Osmo is much better. You can even program motion control for super smooth, repeatable movements. I'd emailed Wiral last year with a moan, and I guess so have lots of others, because an email appeared in my inbox yesterday announcing ping pong mode. And this is just a firmware update for the main unit and the controller. Since it's already got digital end stops, the firmware just needs to use those end stops. So let's see how to update the firmware. Wiral have made updating the firmware really easy. All you need to do is download the Wiral Updater app onto your iOS or Android device. I'll leave a link in the description where you can get that. There we go. And it walks you through everything you need to do. So it says turn on your Wiral LITE main unit and hold down the on button until it turns orange. Now this is a little bit fiddly and it's not quite like that. So if you turn your unit on by just pressing the on button, and this will flash orange now because the remote's not connected. So what you need to do now is press that button again, the light goes off, keep it held, and after a few seconds it will go solid orange. This means it's actually in firmware update mode, and you can see that the app has actually detected that now. I think this is probably using Bluetooth. So you can change to a different firmware version, or you just say upload firmware. We're just going to upload it to the latest firmware, which has ping pong mode. And you will need an internet connection for this, of course. There we go, that's done. Simple. Second part is we need to update the remote as well. So if you flick over to update remote on here, and it says turn on your Wiral LITE remote while pressing the right end stop button. So if I press and hold those two, there we go, it's turned on and the app has detected that. We're just going to hit upload firmware. So that's all done. To get it running in ping pong mode, just set the endpoint as normal and move the main unit with the yellow stripe to your first endpoint and hit the yellow endpoint switch on the controller. Then just move it to the second endpoint and hit the white endpoint button, just as normal. Now you can use the speed controller to get the unit moving to the speed that you want, and then whilst it's moving hit the play and stop button, and hey presto, it'll just ping pong between the endpoints you've just set at the speed that it was running at. To stop it or change the speed, just hit stop and do the same thing again, but you can then just select a different speed. It's really easy and it solves all my single op problems. So now I can forget about the cable cam and just concentrate on remotely operating the camera and the gimbal. A couple of points to note though. The transition at the endpoints could do with being a little bit smoother. The speed ramp up and down is just a little bit too fast, and the endpoints will drift a bit. This uses a stepper motor to drive the unit, and I assume it's just using the step count to define the endpoints. And because this is open loop, it's possible they will drift due to the drive slipping on the rope, or maybe the stepper skipping steps due to load or angle of the rope. There's no position feedback on this, and that's why it's cheap and light and small. To be honest, neither of these is a real issue, but you just need to be aware of them. I hope you found this useful. I'm going to go off and play with this as soon as the rain stops. Thanks for watching, and if you found that useful, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. And if it's your first visit, then please consider subscribing to the channel for updates. I'll see you next time.